Discuss a football disciplinary matter from the English Premier League. Following an eventful matchup between Pep Guardiola's Manchester City and Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, which ended 2-2 at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday, a lot has been made of the Norwegian striker Erling Haaland's antics throughout the game. One incident in particular was Haaland throwing the ball in the back of Arsenal centre-back Gabriel's head. This left a number of fans and pundits with mixed feelings about the prolific forward's behaviour, including Arsenal legend Ian Wright, who called it a coward's move. The incident was reviewed by the virtual assistant referee VAR, during which the game uncleared, while it has been confirmed that Haaland will face no retrospective punishment from the FA for his actions. Haaland was also involved in other confrontations, including an interaction after the game with Mikel Arteta, where he told the Spaniard to stay humble. Let's bring in one of our football correspondents, Simon Evans, into the discussion, and he joins us via Zoom. Simon, what did you make of what happened after the game with Gabriel being hit in the back of the head? I mean, you don't see these things very often.
No, you don't. And, it's in the context of course, Leandro Trossard being sent off just before half-time for kicking the ball away, which didn't do any harm to anybody, really. Like a second after the referee blew his whistle. He's off, his team's down for 10 men. And then Haaland, it seems, gets away with something which is, he didn't throw it with full force, did he? But it's designed to provoke, it's designed to get a reaction. It's questionable how that doesn't get a yellow card. Now, if VAR looks at it, then it's got to be a red card, hasn't it? So VAR can't intervene and impose a yellow card.
Yeah.
What could happen is that the FA disciplinary people could look at it afterwards in the context of his other behaviour, like you say, the comments to Arteta and some other comments that he made throughout the game, and impose some sort of sanction then, but they've decided not to do that.
Yeah, because the rules, I had a look at the rules prior to today's show, and it said throwing objects, including the football, can warrant a caution from the referee, but none of that happened any at all.
No, I think if the referee had have seen it, he probably would have booked it. To a little bit of defence of referees, they don't get much defence, do they, when we talk about them usually? But it was the final minute, hectic, players moving everywhere. We just had a dramatic late equaliser. The ref's eyes are probably going all over the place. It's the end of the game. So, he can be excused, I think, for not seeing it. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of behaviour that it's this kind of thing that we talk a lot about inconsistencies, don't we? And it does seem inconsistent for someone to be set off for kicking a ball away, not at somebody, but just kicking it away, and somebody else throws the ball at someone's head and doesn't get any sanction.
Well, when you look at it, Simon, one of the realities of what we're seeing in today's game is that you mentioned the inconsistencies. Within minutes in any game, you will see a similar action. Let's go back last year to the situation with Liverpool and Spurs when Jones picked up that card with his foot rolled over the ball. And we've seen it multiple times during the course of the season and not a similar punishment. Are we seeing where the referees are either failing to adhere to the simple rules of the game, or they're coming under unnecessary pressure because of VAR? What do you think is happening?
Yeah, it's probably a bit of both, isn't it? I also think there's maybe there's too many offences now in football, I think. The kind of football that we might have grown up playing, you could get involved in situations a little bit more with people, both physically, the challenges, and things like kicking the ball away a bit like that, where it wasn't really a massive amount of dissent. It does seem a strange world, though, where there's all these little punishments and fouls and things you can get yellow cards for that you never would have got 20 years ago in football. And yet, from what we heard during COVID, when there were no fans in the stadium, players get away with swearing at referees and calling them every name under the sun. So that's the biggest inconsistency of all for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Simon, just to get a clearer understanding for our viewers, explain in detail, because earlier you said that if VAR had intervened, that it would have to be red. Can you explain the reason behind that?
One of the factors that allows VAR to intervene, the clear and obvious error, is should there have been a red card. There isn't a proviso for VAR to intervene for yellow cards, for a missed yellow card, just for the sending off. So they've set the threshold at that level because they believe a red card is a serious incident that would change the nature of a game, whereas a yellow card is a lesser one. And if VAR was intervening every time, I think it's right. If VAR was intervening every time that it saw something that could have been a yellow card, we know what would be happening.
Yeah, very much the case. There's the other aspect of it with the disciplinary committee of the FA. And from what I've read, the suggestion is that because on the field of play, or because VAR had a look at the incident and did not change the original decision, then the FA disciplinary committee could not do anything. I mean, can you sort of explain what's going on there as well?
Yeah, that's a trickier one because they could do something from how I understand it. So what they've tried to avoid doing is having 3 layers of decisions: an on-field decision, a VAR decision, and then a disciplinary committee decision, because you would really be getting into a farcical situation if you were re-examining every VAR decision and making a ruling. But they do have the power to intervene if they think they've seen unsporting behaviour of a serious nature. I mean, I'd have to look up the exact wording of it, but they do have the power to intervene if something is spotted afterwards. For example, the comments made to Arteta. For example, some of the pushing and shoving that's gone on there. They could also intervene in an informal way, which I wouldn't be surprised if this something like this does eventually happen. They could intervene and tell Manchester City that they need to keep an eye on this player as well, which is not a sanction, but they could say, look, we've looked at this. He's behaved in an unnecessary fashion, and you really need to have a word with this guy and calm him down. They can do that. No one gets any punishment, but they seem to be doing their job.
Yeah, quickly, Simon, based on the series of events that you saw, and you just use the term action of a serious unsporting nature, do you believe that the series of events involving Erling Haaland was of a serious unsporting nature? And putting the position of the FA, would you lay sanctions on the Norwegian?
No, I don't think so. In the heat of the moment, at the end of a game there, it's a silly thing to do. And that one, the charge there that we haven't discussed, that one you could have a look at as well. But no, I think a yellow card, I think, for that kind of behaviour, that kind of challenge there would have been sufficient, I think. Would it have been then 2 yellow cards if you include the throwing the ball? Possibly. But I don't think I'd be imposing after the event a sanction on him. I think I'd be having a word with him and saying, calm him down.
Do you suspect that referees will be taking a closer look at the man now in games going forward?
Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets a yellow card for a very, very minor infringement in his next game. We see that happen all the time, don't we?
Yeah. Simon, thanks very much as usual, man. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I think it's been a while. Yeah. It's good to see you again. I hope you're well.
I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, let's do this more often.
For sure.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward for sure. Take care, Simon.
All right, cheers.
Yeah. Would you impose a sanction, Leighton?
Not necessarily, because it's after the fact.
Okay.
But the reality is, going forward, as Simon said, keep an eye on him, because I think one of the things that you run the risk of, and I understand in the heat of the moment, but similarly in the heat of the moment, Gabriel could have been some serious harm there. You don't know what could happen. You throw a ball that hard into the back of someone's head. That's why they have these.
But the suggestion here is that it wasn't thrown hard.
He pushed it. I mean, look, you've been hitting your head with a football before.
No.
Okay, well, I have. I know what it feels like. And at the back of your head, when you're not expecting it, it could cause some damage, and you never can tell. I wouldn't. Look, it's a game, and it's a physical game. But acts like that, I don't think are warranted. Yeah?
All right, fair. Let's take a break on the SportsMax Zone. Still so much to come, including a link from St. Lucia, Julian Alfred, the Olympic 100 champion, the World Indoor 60 meters champion, and the Diamond League winner at 100 meters. She's arrived. We'll be telling you all about it later on the SportsMax Zone. Stay with us.